boys and girls, students of Buddhist Sunday school and Dhamma classes, parents, grandparents, all students, particularly of the primary school, and perhaps also some secondary students, and all the teachers of Buddhist Sunday school and Dhamma classes. Good morning. May you all be well, happy, and peaceful. Now we are going to have another Jataka story with a moral titled KESIYA. KESIYA. Now we have done quite a number of Jataka stories. As you know, the Jataka stories tell about the Bodhisattva's lives before he became a Buddha. And the Jataka stories, there are hundreds of them, teach very good moral lessons. So for this Jataka story, we are going to have a comic form, right? In the form of a comic. So which means that you can read the captions and then understand the story. I'm going to go over with you the story of KESIYA, and some English words that are difficult I explain at the side, and you have some animation. The texts are all in English, and of course the narration, explanation, and comments are also in English. So before we launch the PowerPoint, perhaps it's good for us to check that the setup is correct. Okay. And now let us launch the PowerPoint for the Jataka story. View. You can see the cover slide, which, as you can see, is titled KESIYA, a Jataka story with a good moral lesson, and also some Dhamma points where we can discuss later on at the end of the story. Now, of course, you will probably guess that the main character is this guy here, who is actually a real miser, very, very stingy, like a Mr. Scrooge in Charles Dickens' novel, A Christmas Carol. And here are just some images and animated animals. Here you have, I think, a cat, and here you have a dog, you have some birds. So let us now go to the story. Now let's go on to the slide. KESIYA. Long ago, there lived a miser, KESIYA. He was the king's treasurer. One day, as he was going home, you can see this treasurer, something like a minister of finance now. So he would take care of the king's wealth, right? His gold and silver and property and all those things. That was his job, quite a high-ranking job. But he was a miser, you would see, very, very stingy. So one day, after his work at the palace, he was going home, and what did he see? He saw a man at the side of the road eating pudas. Now you may wonder, what is a puda? Actually, a puda is an Indian sweet pancake, right? A very delicious snack. That is a puda. And you can see an image of this puda, quite similar to our Malaysian apong. So he had a look, and some thoughts arose in the mind. It's such a long time since I have eaten pudas. So I could ask my wife to make some, but the cost, I'm worried about the money. To make the pudas, you need money. So when this guy, KESIYA, reached home, the wife saw him looking so down, gloomy. You look sad. What's the matter? Nothing. Now, I want you to have a look at the meanings of the words and also have a look at the animated image. So now you know a miser is a person who is reluctant to spend, sometimes to the point of foregoing even the basic comforts and now some necessities. They're very stingy, wear, very simple clothes, and then I would not spend money to treat the wife or the children. Everything all want to, very stingy, he holds the money. Right? Why? He wants to keep the money. That time it was gold money and then silver. And then other possessions, pots and pans and all those. So you just wanted to keep and keep all this. That was this type of person. Today also we have people who are very, very stingy, isn't it? So let us now go on to the next slide. So the wife asked the husband, "Tell me, what's wrong? Is the king angry with you for some reason?" He said, "No." "Have any of the servants asked for a raise?" Of course, he had, workers under him being the treasurer. So he said, your workers or clerks or whatever asked to have increased his salary. Like that. "Oh, no," he said. Right? And he said, "They are all good people." So then, of course, his servant brought the drink for him. Then the wife asked, "What's the matter then?" "Well, if you must know, I have a craving for pudas." And I told you pudas, the Indian pancake. "Pudas? Is that all? I'll make some for you right away." Also a very good wife, actually. So you see the meaning, a raise means an increase usually of salary. Craving, which is not a good trait, not a good mental quality to crave, you will get to kawan. So this craving is a powerful desire to have something. So in this case, he was greedy. He was a strong greed for what? For pudas, to eat the delicious pudas. Just as now, people crave for durians, people crave for ice cream, people crave for chocolates and eat over the limit until they get sick. That is craving. Like this animated one shows it. He wants to eat, I don't know whether it's ice cream or pudding or whatever. Now let's go on to the story. "In fact, I'll make enough for the whole neighborhood." The wife was a very generous person. She said she will make enough pudas. We can actually give to some of the neighbors also, apart from the members of our family. Wow, he was not happy. This miser. "What?" Then he scolded the wife. "Have you taken leave of your senses, woman?" And then the wife was scared. To take leave of your senses means to begin acting or thinking in a foolish way. "You stupid woman. Have you lost your good way of thinking?" He scolded. And the wife said, "All right, I'll make just enough for us," which means the member in the family. Then this miser always only thinking of himself. "For us, for the children, for you and for me. Leave the children out." Oh, imagine, he didn't even want the children to eat the pudas. So very stingy and miserly. They may not care for pudas. They don't like to eat this one. Then the wife, very obedient wife, said, Then I'll make just enough for the two of us, you and me. And then he, wanting to save, didn't want the wife also to eat. Then you know what he said? "You don't really want to eat pudas, do you?" Oh, I didn't want the wife also to have the share. Then the wife also didn't want to say, well, what to do? Got to follow this terrible husband, very stingy. So now let us go on to the next one. Then he said, "I thought as much. So Just make just enough for me lah, right? And then after that, he still had all those terrible funny thoughts because of his stinginess and miserliness. Wait, he said you must be careful. If you make the Buddhas in the kitchen, the aroma will attract the neighbors, you know. Aroma means very nice smell, distinctive, good, pleasant smell. So don't make the Buddhas in the kitchen because the good smell will float out of the windows there so easily. Then we have our neighbors and these kepochi people will come hoping to get some, a lot of trouble. No. And then we'll have to give them some already. I'll tell you what we'll do. God really commanded the wife. We'll take everything you need up to the terrace for then you can make the Buddhas up there. Terrace is something like, you know, at the higher point of the house, something like a balcony, right? So terrace, a level place area next to a building. You have to go up there, higher up. In some of the houses, you can see a terrace, a balcony that extends out from the main building. So that's the terrace. Nobody usually goes there unless the family members go there to have a break, a high area. Now, utensils means the tools, containers, or other articles, especially for household use. So, of course, to go up, you got to bring the pots and pans, your plates, and then the things that are required to make the fire to cook, and all those things. All right. So this one shows going up the stairs, right, into the terrace. So let us go on to slide number 6. So they reached the top. This is the terrace. Something like a balcony extended out from the main building. Quite a big space. Right. So he was very happy. So up to the terrace. They say, nobody here. Good. Now you can start making your Buddha. That lazy fella didn't even bother to help the wife. Now you can get to work. So the wife has to make a fire using that old-fashioned stove they had, and then with the pan, and then the other the spade, I mean not the spade, you know what, frying utensil, so, and then the fellow was resting there, doing nothing, waiting for the Buddhas to be ready to be eaten. This image gives you an idea how a Buddha can be made. In a way, quite similar to maybe an apong or roti canai or chapati or all those, but it's sweet, a sweet, delicious Buddha. So let us see what is to happen. Now let us go on to the next slide. Sometime later already, impatient already. Are they ready? And then the wife said, almost. But let them cool. You so cannot eat when the thing is so hot. The apong so hot, will burn your tongue, isn't it? And then suddenly, the wife said, oh, we have a gas. Well, what? A gas. Oh, he was so happy. They didn't want anybody to know, isn't it? Then very strangely, you know, a monk appeared, something like floating up from the ground. Didn't use the staircase through the door. Just floated up. This is a monk with psychic power, right? So he floated up. Oh, when he saw this monk, what do you want? Oh, what do you want? Then he tried to chase away the monk. Go away, go away. But the monk with his psychic power just landed on the terrace, right? You know, now you can see here, the barricade here, right? And then after that, the monk was inside already. And the monk kept quiet, very serene, peaceful, with their hands up, like blessing him. Our friend not happy because another person to feed with his Buddha, isn't it? Now you can see the image. There's the monk. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Do you think you can get a Buddha by hovering up there? Hovering means remaining in one place in the air. Now, of course, we can't do that. We have to be on the ground, isn't it? But this was no an ordinary monk. He had psychic powers. And the Buddha also had psychic powers. They could, float up and move just like a plane or something like that. So that's how he came. So this fella not impressed. He was so greedy. He didn't even marvel at the fantastic psychic power of a person being able to float up. You say, you think you float up like this, you can get a Buddha. You come to us. I wouldn't give you one, even if you were standing on this terrace. So even if you were to come down and stand on the terrace, I would not give you. But just now, actually, the monk had not stood down on the terrace yet. He was floating above the terrace at the time. So the moment he said, even if you were standing on this terrace, the monk landed and just standing just beside him. Oh, fantastic psychic power, right? He was quiet, very calmly. Do you think I'll give you a Buddha just because we are standing on the same terrace? You think you're standing just beside me, then I'll give you a Buddha? Wow, such a stingy person. Miser, really. Today also we have people who are very stingy also, want to get more and more money only, and miserly. I wouldn't give you one, even if you were standing beside me. Just now he was further away already, the monk. He was standing near him, but not really near enough. Then even you're standing just beside me, by my side, I wouldn't give you. And straight away, with the psychic power, he did not see the monk walking near him. It's just like magic. He was surprised. Just now was there, standing not so far away from him, but now he's just by my side, he was thinking. So he was very, very surprised. And now he began to take notice of the strange powers of this monk. This one just an image, a miser, miser. This is a serene monk with psychic powers. So let's see what would happen. But then he ran away. He kept away from the monk. I won't give you one. And then I said, I mean it. But then the next thing he saw was the monk was sitting near the wife and near him already. So sudden, So he was very, very shocked. Then he realized that this was no ordinary monk. Then the monk had psychic powers. So then maybe he was a bit afraid already. Give him a small one and let him go away. He instructed the wife. So the wife actually still continued to make a few right? But the wife chose one. Hey, stingy fellow said, no, not that one. That's too big. That's too big. Now, so this one is the stingy, miserly face. I hope that you won't be like that. You'll be a generous person, not stingy. Terrible. You cause yourself suffering and cause others suffering. Highly, very greedy. Very, very stingy. Always thinking of himself only. This one to show the floating, levitating monk. All right, let's go on to the next one. Then, what happens now? Make a small one for him, because just now the wife had already made some already, all for him, all for him, the greedy bum, right? So he said, because all about the same sizes, I said, okay, make one small one for him. And the wife, being an obedient one, followed. But then something very strange happened. But KESIYA, that's the miser, the KESIYA's wife found that she could not make a small Buddha for the uninvited guests, Somehow or other, she tried to make a small one, it will grow bigger, It will grow bigger. So the fellow noticed, what? That's turned out even bigger than the other ones that you would give. Then this wife also very surprised, say, the paste keeps on spreading over the whole pan, you know. There's something strange, very strange, something going on here, very strange, you know. I don't know why, right? I just wanted to put in a little bit of, you know, the dough to make the Buddha. And then it's somehow harder spread out and the most seem to drip in. I also can't explain how. You're just a bad cook, that's all. He scolded the wife, he said, cannot make a small one, bad cook. That's again showing you how a Buddha can be made. So he made many already. Then he fed up already because the one was even bigger already. So okay go back to the old ones that you have made for me Give him one give him that one on top and let him go away So the wife try to take out one from the rest but all of them stuck together, you know. But they are all stuck together. I cannot separate them already. Wow, another very strange thing happened for the Buddhas, isn't it? So this man was getting maybe a bit worried already. And the wife, she was astonished. Never happened before, you know. Actually, all this due to the psychic powers. Actually, you find that even in Christianity, Jesus Christ could perform certain fantastic so-called miracles, but they actually just some psychic powers, you know. Just some like walking on water, and then to heal the sick and so on. So they are incredible. I mean, they are psychic powers. Now you have yogis who can do that also, actually. So he tried to pull, right? He tried to pull, but cannot, you know. Pull, the separate cannot. The whole thing, one big thing like that. And he pulled until he fell. We teach him a lesson. He says, my wife, then he realized really after falling down. And then I was thinking, my wife was right. Something very strange is going on here. Not the normal thing. It is clear. Now you realize already that he was dealing with something unusual, special thing. You see, we are not dealing with an ordinary man. Then he began to respect this monk already with the psychic powers. So he started to change in his attitude already. You could see the beginning of changes already. So what did he do? Surprising. He took the whole tray of all the Buddhas that the wife had made and offered it to the monk, you know. He said, you can have all the Buddhas respected, sir. Wow, so polite already. Because he respected the monk, no ordinary monk, with very strong psychic powers. Now you could see the image, quite interesting. That the monk could levitate, meditation, deep meditation already, and then could float up, and then move a certain distance also. So actually there are actual present cases of this also being investigated. This is just to show you a plate of the, it's quite similar to the Buddhas. So let us see what will happen next now. So the man, KESIYA, the Vicer, invited him, okay, sit down, sir. Sit down and eat. So his speech was quite nice already now. Then the monk said, I want them not for myself, but for my Lord Buddha and his disciples. They are waiting for me. Wow, the moment he heard Buddha, because he belonged to the Brahmin caste, that area, they had heard of Buddha, the enlightened one, and all his preachings and his greatness and so on. So I was saying, oh, you from the Buddha, a disciple of the Buddha, and now you are just taking food to them who are waiting. Wow, you really respected. So immediately he knelt down in front of this monk. He said, forgive me, I did not know. I did not know I behaved very badly. I did not know that you were actually a very good monk, respected, bringing food for the Buddha and the other disciples. So he had great respect. So there was a change of the mind already. From being very stingy, hot-tempered, selfish, everything, he was now quite kind already and respectful and all those things. So when the monk saw this, the monk did another miraculous act, with the psychic power again. He raised his hand, and then very strangely, from the terrace, there was a staircase coming down already. They not go through the very messy old staircase through the door just now. They came out and then would enter into the kitchen already, right? That one in the house. This one, the staircase, would lead directly to the place where the Buddha and the disciples were waiting. So all these actually, you say, the psychic powers. So, wow, the wife was very happy because the wife was quite religious and a nice lady. And this was also very excited already. Quickly carried the whole big tray of the Buddhas and then went down, followed the miraculous staircase and reached the place of the Buddha. Right? Reminds you of some of the movies of Superman, Flash. All these are supposed Marvel comics. Right? But this one is talking about the psychic powers. Nowadays, some research has shown there are people who have very fantastic psychic powers. By staring at an object, you can cause the object to move or the chair to move. They call it telekinesis or telekinesis, to be able to move, or psychokinesis also, to move an object. A lot of very interesting developments. So this was what happened during the Buddha's time. So they reached the place already. They saw the Buddha sitting in a meditative position under the tree. And there were hundreds of thousands of monks. And probably there were also other devotees also, you see. There were other people who came to pay respect to the Buddha, as shown in the animated video clip here. And also to offer, that now we have also, when monks or nuns come to PBHP, then we will do the Dana lunch, we bring food and offer. This is a very good act of charity. So the young ones also can practice that. Sunday school also would do that also. They will do Dana, go to the old folks home and also offer. It's a very good charitable act. Right? Other religions also have that charity. So this one is this animated video clip. So he, somehow or other, because of the monk there, he was able to go right to the Buddha now. And then he paid respect. Wow, now very humble already. Very gentle and kind, paid respect to the Buddha. And of course, he also offered, right? He also offered the Buddhas to the Buddha. The Buddha received it. Then he will take just one or two into his alms bowl. And then the rest will be distributed to the rest of the disciples. So you see, very interesting. As I said, he offered the Buddha the whole tray. So the Buddha accepted the offering of Buddhas, and they were distributed, as I said just now, among his monks. Usually the Buddha, the monk that's being offered will take just a little bit, they don't need much, and then they'll offer to the rest already. And then there were many kinds of other food also, right? So KESIYA and his wife too got their share, And I think they also got some other types of food also, because many people would bring the food, isn't it? So very, very happy. So say, this is the first time I have shared my food with strangers. So he was very happy, He felt the joy of Dana. That by doing this Dana act, with a kind heart, willingly, he experienced a type of joy that he never experienced before. He was always grumpy, stingy, hot-tempered, barking here and there, and then he would be very stressed doing the work, etc. Now, he's a changed person already. So he was very happy. And as he said himself, and strangely, I feel happy. And then he looked at the wife was staring, not at him, but staring at what was happening. Hey, what are you staring at? Right? So he thought the wife was staring at him and he said that he feel very happy lah. I'm staring at the Buddhas. Then the wife said, very strangely, everyone has eaten and all, but the tray is as full as before. How is it that you still have so much? The tray never finished. In terms of the Buddhas being distributed, still full, very strange, isn't it? That reminds me of those days when I was following some Bible classes and things like that. So there was this miracle of the loaves, that the Lord Jesus Christ did this miracle of multiplying the loaves, right? Giving the loaves to the people and so on. And never finished one. He could multiply on and on. So I was thinking whether the story now could have come from this Jataka story, the idea also. Because the Jataka are much, much earlier already. Right? Oh, then he said, never have I seen such a wonder. He was fascinated, he was really awestruck. This is the greatest day of my life. Wow. Happiest day, most joyful day. And then also his mind was changed already, became very spiritual already. And then from that day onwards, he would always go and do dana and pay respect to the Buddha when the Buddha was in that area. So, KESIYA, then finally, when the occasion or the lunch was over already, then they returned home. They paid respect and then went home. And then, you know what he said? He said, why? Tomorrow, you will make Buddhas for the whole neighborhood. Wow. From being a miser, he turned into a very generous person. So it's the practice of generosity and the happiness and joy because a person cuts the self, cuts the ego, the selfishness, then you will experience fantastic feelings of joy. That's why you see, there are some students, they have these good inclinations or yen. They will come and do dana work, clean the floor, sweep the floor. Very few majority will be caught up by Mara just playing on the mobile phone and then just fighting with other friends also things. But then we have few with these very good hearts, they will do dana because they had done it probably in the previous lives, and they will feel very happy, They would sometimes also bring from the home the food prepared by the mother for the association, especially during special occasions like Children's Day, Teachers' Day, or Visa or whatever. So it's a fact that if you practice dana on and on, continuously, not selfish, but very generous, you will experience fantastic joy and things like that. And you keep doing it. That's why you see some of the happiest people are the people who help others, dana. Who are now, you have also people in Malaysia, like during the flood crisis, people had no food, or during the pandemic, people lost their jobs and so on. So there will be some of these Bodhisattvas, we call them like Bodhisattvas, they will go and prepare free food, and they will go and get donations, distribute the goods. These are the people practicing very good dana. It is a very good karma. They will have very great joy and reap a lot of good karma. And later on, I mean, the time will come, they will grow old and so on. The time will come, they will pass away. And accordingly to the teachings, they will be reborn because they have done very good dana. They will be reborn wealthy, rich. And if also they keep the precepts, don't do all the wrong things, then they can also be born into the heavens. So these two things are very important. Dana sila, which means charity, generosity, and also keeping your moral precepts, the morality, very important. Now, I just want you to reflect a bit on the three images, how the person pay the respect in the Buddhist way also. You can see that. You can see, so from this animated image, you can see how you can pay respect to the Buddha image, right? This is the way to do it. Three times actually. That's how you pay respect, homage to the Buddha, three times. And then sometimes monks come and you find it, then you also pay respect. This is the way you offer. Or sometimes you, because too many people, everybody would do that, then too long queue. So sometimes you just fold your palms, and then offer the food to the monk. You cannot every time do this, you have to see the situation. So he was very happy, and these animated images or video clips will show you husband and wife very, very happy. Of course, these one are just modern images. This one also is very, very happy already. So now we will come to the important part of learning, the important lessons, isn't it? That is the slide 14. Now let me put on the video of, so that you can actually hear me live. This is actually live. So let us now go on to slide number 14. All right. I have put here 4 Dhamma lessons where we can learn important teachings from the Buddha. They are in a way related to the story of KESIYA, the Jataka tale, right? But I extended this, right, so that you have very important points to learn, even though the story does not show directly. It's a story, it doesn't, explain clearly. So if you want to benefit most, is to watch the whole presentation, then you learn good Dhamma, apart from also knowing the story. But some people have no time, they just watch just look at the PowerPoint, the presentation, read the comics like that. Not so beneficial compared to following the whole thing through, which will sometimes take near to an hour. But that is time worth spending, because your mind will be filled with good thoughts. Then your mind will be taking in very good Dhamma teachings. Not just watching all just the dancing and singing all the time, or all the fighting, everything. Those things are temporary, but this Dhamma that goes into you will be your rich wealth. And I have also reports some of my former students who are now 30 over years old or 40 years, they say they like also to follow these Sunday school lessons because they are very good Dhamma teachings there. So they can follow also this. So now let us look at the Dhamma lessons. Let us look at the first one. Do not be greedy, stingy, or miserly. You are bound to meet with pain and misery. This is written in the form like a poem, right? Rhyming, rhythm. So the important thing is this mental poison or defilement of what we call greed. Tamak. There are people like this. Very greedy, very stingy, very miserly. You ask a brother donate. He say, "What for donate? I might as well go and buy things and I enjoy the things," and always thinking of themselves, right? Ask them to help. What, got money or not? No money, no talk. They even will reply this way. So there are people who are like that. They will not do any dana. Having taught in the Sunday school for more than 20 years, I could see also, people, young and old also, they have these traits. So when there is a free meal and so on, wow, they will quickly go and grab as much as possible, right? They should just take their share or what, right? Some will tapao, tapao things when other people have not eaten also. That is not good. That shows greed, always thinking of themselves, stingy, wouldn't want to contribute anything in terms of money or help and so on. And according to the Buddha's teaching, if you are like this, which means you are conquered by the Mara force of what we call lobha, greed, and now connected with this will be the stinginess and miserliness of greedy. Then the rebirth will take place, not a happy state, and you can be reborn in a very, very poor condition. You see, in the Majjhima Nikaya, in the scripture, it's explained why some people born are so lucky, right? From young, wow, rich family can enjoy the Disneyland and so on. Others can be born in terrible settings, which I've seen in Burma, in Cambodia, Laos, all this. And then I've not been to Africa. You see the images of Africa, there's so many unfortunate ones. Young children, born into that setting, right? So poor, they beg for food, and then some, there was a case in Africa where the child, no food to eat, got to eat the clothes, the dress, and then after that, we go to the ground there and dig to see whether they could get anything to eat, chachin or root or what. So hungry. So sometimes you think, why is it like that? Is there a God that made the child like that? Because you say that God knows everything and can do everything, then is it made by God? So when I was young, I used to think like this, this way, how is not logical? God made the flood like that. But then when we came to the Dhamma, then we understand already. It's cause effect. So in the previous life, I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just telling you the reasons. So in the previous life, because they didn't know, so they were like this, like this person, KESIYA. So stingy everything. But very good thing is you find that he changed, isn't it? So you will have very good rebirths later on already. Because he changed after listening and seeing certain things. He was lucky in the Buddha's time. But today, there are people who change also. But there are people until old, well, they won't. I also heard of cases when they are old also, during the thunderstorm, the coconut tree outside the coconut falls down. The old lady or old man will run and quickly go and take the coconut, scared that somebody else will take. It's raining also. Yeah, actual case. So actually today also you have that. So it's very terrible in the sense that it's not a good thing to do. So you're bound to meet with pain and misery. That means suffering, dukkha, or poverty, no food to eat and all those stuff. On the other hand, you have people born so rich, so successful right from young. The Bill Gates, one of the richest men. So why? You can say, oh, he's smart, everything, but why is he smart? No, he was lucky. Why is he lucky? It has got to do with previous lives. They have been so generous and donating, as Achan, the monk Achan Dhamma also explained. And now also he will donate to other people. Those are very good meritorious actions, right? So this is a very important practice of dana. Right? Today, this one actually concerns dana and stinginess, mindfulness. So I focus on that. So now let us look at the next one. Towards others, have compassion and loving kindness. Oh, there is a spelling mistake again. We change it. It should be Y-O-U-R. Your mind and heart will then be filled with much happiness. That's very true, isn't it? If you have metta, and then you have sipe, karuna, then what happens is your mind and heart will be filled with much happiness. Now you see that who are the happy people? Not the stingy ones, not the misers, not the great pop stars or the great actors, actresses, and also I mentioned before, they have all the things, but yet they commit suicide, isn't it? You have cases Michael Jackson, Mao Wong, Leslie Cheung, Mr. Hilton, many, and now you have the K-pop, the Korean K-pop, so many have committed suicide. Why is it like that? They don't realize what are the actual things that will bring you peace, happiness, and wisdom. And that thing pertains to compassion, loving kindness, apart from dana also. When you have compassion, naturally dana will come in. You have metta also. You want to help other people. You want to relieve their suffering, right? You want to do charity. They're so connected, you see. And then when you have compassion, you also will not harm other people, isn't it? To kill people, to torture people, to make people unhappy, or to make people suffer in pain. You won't do that because you have compassion. So you are actually practicing good morality. So people who follow this will be happy. Not only this life, they will have good future rebirths and get reborn into the heavens as gods or even as human beings, they will be in fortunate states as you know of. You go to Switzerland or certain countries, you see some opposite of some of the underdeveloped countries, terrible, so much of suffering there. So this is a very important thing to realize, to practice metta, and also be concerned, want to help other people so that they do not suffer that much. Right? But today, very sad to say, it's more of me, my, I want this, I want that. So they would not really want to do much of a compassion work or metta work. You have people who volunteer. Even in Christianity, many people who show very good metta and karuna. They go to, SPCA, the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. And then they go and help to relieve the suffering, to take care of the animals, the stray animals. They are very good. Good acts also. And some, they volunteer in the veterinary home or things like that. But not many. But if you cannot do that because of circumstances, there are little things you can do. Even in Sunday school, you can do so many good things of kindness. Help the teachers to somehow help very good. Some of them help to water the plants, right? To sweep the floor, right? And then also on their own, they will clean the board. Very few. They will just walk out everything. I know those days, early days, I had the students volunteer to go and after that, later on, no, already. I always had to do on my own. So you see, very few. I don't know what sort of education they have. Volunteer, these things. It's more of me, I, especially with high technology. They just want to enjoy themselves, everything on their own, everything for their own, rather. Right? So one day you will see this as this person learns also. So this is a very important lesson, the practice of metta, karuna, loving kindness and compassion. Now let us look at the next one. It's important to practice dana of giving. That is the focus on this story. Very important to practice dana. Now, dana is a difficult word to translate in a way because I see so many translations. But, common ones would be like dana means giving, giving sincerely, right? Out of concern, out of metta and compassion, giving. You don't give you, I give, you see, come and take a photo. Now I'm doing this. They think that is the way. No. And then some give because they want rewards. Right? And then some, not really, they have a dana heart. I remember last time, there was a group of students coming from, don't know, was it Sabah, Burnham or Sungai Besar, I couldn't remember. They came, they wanted to do some gotong royong, which was a good dana act, charity. But then later on, I found that actually it was because they want to score A for the pendidikan moral. So while they were doing, they didn't do a good job really. Some would hold the brooms and then hold the scoops and so on. They were more interested in taking the photos. Okay, I sit now, you take the photo, because I can put in my portfolio, and I'll get high marks. That sort of thing is very, very poor dana. You help selflessly because you know it's a good action, a good charitable act. So giving with generosity, sincerely, and also helping. So these all pertain to dana. And when you do this, this will definitely help you reduce the suffering. Now today, many people suffering from mental illnesses, worry, anxiety, schizophrenia, many mental sicknesses though. And I've heard some very good monks giving the talk. If they are able to reach out and help other people, this will really help to solve or to cut down these illnesses, mental illnesses. But today, of course, they just rely on medicine. Of course, you take the medicine, but that's not the only thing that you need to do. You have to change your attitude, your way, and then open up the heart. And one good way is to do dana and help people. Then you will contribute to your mental health. You'll be more joyful, more peaceful, happy, and you find there's more meaning in your life rather than always, I want this, I want me, I want that, I want ice cream, I want this Reebok shoes, I want this game set, I want a new mobile phone, everything like that. When you grow up, you see, you will not be peaceful. You will lack peacefulness and happiness. And then always wanting, craving, you see. This is another witness. This story also talk about the craving. The world was craving for Buddhas. But today you have adults, they crave for more and more money. That's why you have so many scams. So many people want to cheat other people. That is craving for money. They want better cars. And then they want bigger houses. All this never end. Ask them to help, not so willing to. That's a big mistake. And in a way, you cannot really blame them. Various reasons. One of it is in the home upbringing. And then have they learned the religion, whatever religion, proper religion, learn the proper values? And also, have they practiced from young and received all those things? No. Today what? Busy with tuition, projects, and then going for karate, ballet, everything. You think they go for Dhamma classes? I'm not saying that learning all this is not important. Yes, you need also to have this. But what I mean is you must have the balance of the religion or the Dhamma and so on. Otherwise, next time you're going to suffer. As already reported in the paper, so many people, young people are stressed. Some commit suicide. Suicide rate going up. All these are due to the steps that should be taken are not being taken when you were young. Like moral education, but then today moral education is to score A, right? So that is not the way or the wise way. Now we look at the last Dhamma lesson. It's meritorious to practice Dhamma. Of course, I've already mentioned so many times that it is very good deed of charity or giving Dana. But important thing, as I said just now, also must do sincerely. Not because you want name, because you want photo to be taken, this and that, because you want people to praise you. You might get some merit because you're still having a bit, right? But very, very low. But sincerely, out of metta, compassion, sincere, that will be very good merits. The benefits will be tremendous. And then the other important point in Dhamma teaching, which actually not indicated very clearly in the story, is that before you do the dana, you must have a good, happy state. Actually, in a way, it was shown also, right? That, this man later on said, oh, prepare the Buddhas for the neighbor. So he was feeling happy to do that act already before doing it, isn't it? Right? And then in the process of giving, that one also is shown up. In the process of giving, was so happy to offer to the Buddha. During, so before, during, and then after that, he has said to the wife, never feel so happy. Wonderful day, everything. Right? So these three occasions, before doing the dana, during doing the dana, and after that. But there are some people, they are sometimes being forced. The wife say, come tomorrow we can do dana. Okay lah. The wife, at first he said doesn't want, but then the wife, pujuk the floor. Okay lah, but he was very, very happy to do that. But he agreed to go. So during the process, he didn't really feel very happy doing it because he did not understand the Dhamma. So he just, and then some worst thing during the dana, they have wrong intention, just like people praying now. They pray to this angkong. If I pray that I strike the 4 ekor, then I will cook the curry and pray to you. It's some of the bargain to do the dana offering to a god. That is not the way of the Dhamma teaching. So during the process, you say it's a very meritorious action. I learned this Dhamma, so I'm offering with joy. The disciple was like that also in the end. He offered to the Buddha, was very, very happy. And then when the wife saw the Buddha being distributed to the others, she was happy. And then after that, she was shocked. They never seemed to finish on. You see? And then, of course, towards the end, they also felt very happy because they had done the dana. There's all 3 occasions. So this is a good condition that you have to reflect. And perhaps if your parents don't know, then you can teach your parents these very important things. Actually, in the Buddha's teaching, I've mentioned that we must have the Humu'en, right? So, many people now don't have practiced that. Many young people also don't have it now. And the Buddha in the scripture said, you owe so much to our parents, because they have brought you up and then given you education and all the care, everything, not easy. So the Buddha said it's not easy to repay your parents for all the care all the contributions. So to repay that gratitude, with gratitude is not easy. Even if you were to carry, according to the scripture, carry the father, mother on the left shoulder, right shoulder, take care of them and everything, all this, still cannot pay back. The best way to pay back, to be grateful to the parents for all they have done for you, is to do this, right? To teach the parents Dhamma if they are ready. Because your parents didn't go to Sunday school, but you have learned, so you can share also, isn't it? But don't be proud like him. Mommy, daddy, I've learned this, no? So important to practice dana. And then you can tell them, so important to keep the precepts. No, when you see your father hunting and so on, they say, killing not good because the animals suffer, you know. So you do it in a very nice way. Your parents say, wow, these children learning very, very good things, isn't it? So you teach Dana Sila, and then also you have learned meditation also in the Sunday school, Metta Bhavana. You can tell mommy, daddy, I learned this simple meditation of loving kindness. This is how we did it lah. We do it lah. So maybe you want to learn also. It's good, you know. I feel very happy. This is teaching the Dhamma. And then after that, their confidence in the Buddha's teaching, everything, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha will begin to grow already, isn't it? Right? And then also you have learned so much of good Dhamma that make you, the Dhamma makes you become wiser already. So you can also teach whatever you learn to your parents, to your grandparents also. Your grandparents never had a chance to go and learn the Dhamma. But if you have the chance, then you can do that also. So share whatever the Dhamma. This is the best way to pay back the parents. That's what the Buddha said. Because they are going to benefit not only in this life, but in future lives. Of course, you can give them presents, Mother's Day, Father's Day, everything. But then the presents after all, also people forget about it already, no more already. Then next year you do again, right? So this one doesn't last. Whereas if you are able to give this, the Dhamma teachings and so on, this can transform their minds and hearts of the parents. And then they really get the benefits for this life and future lives, on and on. So you can see why the gift of Dhamma is the greatest gift. I'm not saying you should not do the other things, no. Very good also, an act of giving a present to somebody and all that, that's also good. But I'm saying the greatest, right? So you have this. So now we have come to the end of the presentation. I hope you quite like this story, right? Of this KESIYA, a Jataka story about the miser who actually changed in the end. The story is simple, and some people say, whether story is true, like that one. Actually, nobody can really be 100% sure the proof that, oh, it is true. If you read different books and listen to Dhamma talks by different people, they also have their views. Some say it's true, some say it's not, like just a story, right? To me, not important to go and find. I mean, you can't really arrive at an absolute answer for sure, right? People have different views. Most important is really not the story, but the story helps. Is the moral lesson that you can learn, the Dhamma you can learn. Just as last time, I was young, I read about Cinderella and Bawang Putih, Bawang Merah, Snow White, and all those things. I also knew those were fairy tales and so on. But I learned a lot of good qualities. Being kind, not selfish. Those are the things which are important. And similarly with Jataka stories, you must remember the good moral lessons and the Dhamma. Story you forget, so okay lah. But the funny thing is, story they remember, but they forget the Dhamma. So you remember the story good because you can tell people also, isn't it? But never forget the Dhamma behind, the moral lessons. Then it becomes a very strong way of teaching another person, of sharing another person things which are very important. So now we have come to the end. Before we say sadhu 3 times, I would like to thank you all, boys and girls, students of the Buddhist Sunday School or Dhamma classes, and also all students, youth members who are following this presentation, and also the parents, grandparents who are teaching the young people good Dhamma and moral lessons, and also the teachers of Buddhist Sunday School and Dhamma classes. So thank you and sadhu to all of you for taking the time and putting in the effort patiently to follow this presentation. So let us now put our palms together and say sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. To all of you, sadhu, may you all be well, happy and peaceful, and may the Dhamma grow in all of you. Take care.